And it comes back to being a single mum.
Yeah.
I imagine that was a huge driving factor, having that level of security for you and your kids.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know for a fact there's a lot of women, I know personally, I wish I could do this, I wish I could take the kids away. Well, now you've built that little ecosystem for yourself that you can take on another site of 54 units.
Yeah, correct.
You can also make a decision not to.
Yeah.
But because you've got a portfolio of 10, it's going to bring in X amount each month.
Yeah.
Or you can go to Marbella with the kids. Now, that hasn't come easy. You've had to make sacrifices, but these people are going to have to do that as well. It's not easy, but it can be done.
It can be done. Obviously, there's some people who have, what always surprises me is like I started coaching women to invest in property, right? And what always surprises me is like they'll say, oh, I've got like 200 grand in savings and I just haven't done anything with it. And I'm like, what? How have you amassed that much and just not invested it in anything? And actually, some people can quite easily, invest that into buy-to-lets and have a nice, easy return on an investment. And then there's other people I work with, they've got 50 grand and they need to stretch it as far as they can. I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to roll your sleeves up. You're going to have to get your hands dirty because to make that stretch, you're going to have to do what I did.
Tell me more about your program, just quickly.
Well, you know what? My program has just moved online because, so I was working with women one-to-one.
Okay.
It's called the Freedom 3 Property course. And it's basically the freedom that I got by having that property portfolio to be able to like go and live in Marbella, to go and travel, to spend my time how I wanted, right? So I used to coach women one-to-one over Zoom. I'd take them on the whole journey from how to find a property, how to fund it, how to refurb it, and then how to either flip it or rent it out. And then how to do that at momentum. So how to have a pipeline of properties coming through. And it was a victim of its own success, really, because it got to the point where I couldn't keep up with the demand for it. So I recorded all the sessions, all the content, and I've put that onto an online learning platform now. So
I think obviously the description I'll put a link in the description if anyone wants to reach out to yourself that they can.
Yeah.
I think that the most important thing to recognise about that, though, you can make as much money as you want through property, as I've already mentioned, but is that you maintain the relationship with obviously your mum, your friends, your family, but your kids as well.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing that I take from that, is that you can make this money, but if you don't spend it and you don't enjoy it, and your health as well. I know you're big on your mindset and your health.
I'm big, like after everything that's happened with my family, like I make sure every year I have like a full body health check. I work out every morning. Like I really, really look after myself, and I never used to do that. But that actually has a knock-on effect in that it's ever since I've started doing that, the business has just got more and more profitable because I'm making better decisions, because I'm looking after myself. So whereas I was working myself into the ground previously, actually that thinking that I was working for the business and saving money and making a success of it, actually I wasn't. I'm better off working 4 hours a day of like quality work and look after myself and go for a massage afterwards or do my workout in the morning. The business makes a lot more money when I look after myself.
So what would you say to someone that's looking at starting now and they're going, oh, I can now go for a massage after 4 hours? Because they
can't, because they haven't earned it yet.
I was just about to say that.
No.
If you're thinking of starting, you can't go for a massage yet.
You can't go for a massage yet. No, like you've got to like earn that massage. You've got to like really like work your bones to the to the maximum. And like I drove around in I drive around in a Range Rover now. I drove around in a Peugeot Bipper van for 2 years. Like, I used to be embarrassed. If I was meeting other property developers, I'd be like, oh God, like I'm going to like park around the corner and walk to this event or something. Like I just didn't want anyone to see it. But that's the reality.
Yeah.
Because if your money's tied up in property, which anyone who invests in property knows it is asset rich and cash poor. Yeah. It's just what you got to do. You've got to do what you got to do.
And see, I want to talk to you about relationships. That's something I do want to come on to. Personal relationships, that is.
Okay.
But with your kids, you said at the very beginning of the podcast that you wasn't necessarily involved within the family business.
Yeah.
Are you involved in your kids?
I mean, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, they can't get away from it because when the schools were shut down during COVID, they were having to be on the building site with me. Like, so I was shutting them away in like little porta cabins and saying, right, just stay there for a minute, I've got a meeting, or, so they were literally actively involved.
Yeah.
Now, you know what, I do try, because I don't think they teach in schools what will make you successful financially in life.
Okay.
And I'm finding that increasingly, like my son is 11 and he's obsessed with exam results. And I said, listen, mate, it doesn't matter what your exam results are. Yeah, but I've got to get good exam results so I can get a good job. And I went, and what are you going to do with a good job? Are you going to have a boss and you're going to have to ask for permission to have a week off for a holiday, or you're going to be your own boss and you're going to decide how much you get paid? I said, that's what you want to be doing. I said, forget about your exam results and getting a good job. I said, you create your own job. So I'm trying to get in their heads a little bit.
What does his dad say about that?
Oh, you know what? His dad's the opposite. His dad's like, no, you're right, mate. You've got to go and get a good job, and you've got to get good exam results and go to university and get a good job. And I'm just like, oh no. So hopefully they'll be quite balanced, because they're getting both sides of it.
No, I'm on your side. I agree. I'm not taking sides, by the way, people. Well, obviously I am, because I'm very much of the opinion, if you work for someone, then you pretty much got you by the short and curlies, that at any time they can just go, we don't need you anymore, see you later. But if you start your own little business or whatever it is, side hustle, if you've got a job, then I'm not reliant upon anyone else.
No.
And then if you want to take that holiday, that's on you, but only you will know if you can afford to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've built a little, it's not little at all, it's probably the biggest thing you can do. And yeah, you didn't just go, what fascinates me is you didn't just go straight in with the flip or anything like that. It was the 26 in the end.
It was, oh, you've done your research.
26.
Yeah, we got an extra one on there. Yeah.
And you kept, was it 4?
6 in the end.
You kept 6 in the end.
6 in the
Originally
end,
was 4, and then you had another 2.
Yeah, you have done your research. Yeah, you have, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what fascinates me. But even more than that is that you maintain the relationship with your kids on site, which is what I always done when I built my SA business up with mine. They was always doing the viewings with me. Obviously, when we do the video tours, that was on them. And then when I go out to guests, they'd be like, oh, well, yeah. And it was, okay, I would leverage the kids, because they'd be, oh, we'll book direct. Why? Because my kids are on it, and then it bring even more guests in, which is even brilliant, but even more better for me. But yeah, what about personal relationship with yourself? Have you found that hard during the whole situation that you found yourself in with trying to build the business up?
Personal? You mean the relationship I have with myself, or you
mean
a person? Like a partner?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I haven't got time for that. No, that's definitely suffered. Yeah. I think what's happened is I've become very alpha. Okay. And I've had to be very alpha to take charge of a construction company and lead it and make the decisions that I had to make and stuff. And I think then when I do meet a potential partner, they feel like there isn't really a place for them.
Why?
Because I don't need them. Because it's very obvious I don't. You know what? I feel like I recently discovered that I was ADD, so attention deficit disorder. And it explains a lot of decisions that I've made in my life. But one of the things is that you find it very difficult to stay with a partner long term.
How did you discover that?
My friend got diagnosed and we went on holiday together and she went, you've definitely got it. And I ignored her for ages and I just thought, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And then about a year later, my son got diagnosed with a few different things. And I mean, like, he's got about 5 things. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, they said, well, who in the family's got, you know, some of these things? It's always hereditary. And I said, no one. And then I started thinking when I went home that night and I went, it's me, it's come from me. So I was like, that explains a lot of my life decisions. And, you know, when I was talking about having to escape and stuff, again, that's like another key characteristic of someone with ADD, where they can't stay in one place for a long period of time. They have to like keep moving around, having multiple businesses.
Shit, don't look on Company's House.